Hello ladies and gents, and welcome back to Kaostv's live coverage of the EUS Challenger Series number 3 Grand Finals between British Tea Time and GamingGear. I am Edison, I'm joined by Dignitas Stress, and we are jumping right into the live action of game number 2. Well, actually, I say the live action, they have gone for a pause, Stress, so not too sure what's going on here, but hopefully it'll be resolved shortly.
I was going to say that, right as you said, right into the live action. I got that game has been paused screen come up. But looking forward to this one. We did see in game number 1, British Tea Time took pretty much a commanding lead, really just had control of the game from the very beginning. So how will GamingGear be able to bounce back in this one? They have a considerably stronger mid-game team, as we were commenting, and now we'll see whether they can use that to its full effect as this game goes on.
Yep, so the pause has came undone. I've just skipped to live to make sure that we're all synced up here. And lots of pings going on the map from both teams. We haven't really seen in the EUS Challenger Series 3, or indeed any of the previous tournaments, a lot of level 1 action. Last game around, I wasn't watching from the beginning. Did we have any early stuff kicking off, Stress, or was it pretty much by and large standard?
We saw British Tea Time go for a late invade, but GamingGear had wards out already over their buffs, so it actually ended up putting British Tea Time a little bit behind. So it looks like British Tea Time this time are going to go for the more defensive stand, knowing now that GamingGear are likely to have things warded, but saying that there is a little bit of movement towards that top area of the map. And Zyra and Varus being up there tells me that very similarly to GamingGear in the last game, they're going to initiate that lane swap on the red side.
Really interestingly, I don't know if you caught that, but Shoot Up just found his flash. He flashed at the top bush into the river. So I can only assume that was a bit of a hurt up moment there, or something went wrong with his keyboard. But either way, it is important to note. In all honesty, GamingGear did not see that happen. So as far as they're concerned, the flash from Varus is still up. However, if Varus is caught with his pants down, he could be going down and dead very, very quickly. So one to watch out for. We do have the lane switch up once again, Stress, with the AD carry and support going top lane from British Tea Time.
Yeah, and I think hopefully people just caught out what you were talking about there. There was a little bit of you turning into a robot, but to give people an idea of what Mathis was talking about, shoot the flash into that. It's going to be down, and I'm not sure that, there's not any way to claim the flashing like that. It's a legitimate strategy. So it really would benefit them. So taking a little bit of control here at the beginning of the game, but of course, you said, getting aware of it, so hopefully it won't happen too much, but around about that mark where we normally see drift towards top lane, and Shoot Up needs to be very careful that he's not overextended.
Stress, I think that you're lagging, dude, because I've got this message from me saying that but you're lagging, so hopefully that is going to be removed. We do have some action play as Malphite does pull off. Shouting chat is if both of us are lagging, maybe it's the issue. If so, to jump on over somewhere else. Both lagging currently, so we can help this as soon as possible. Do we have another TS in here, or what's going to happen?
Hopefully that gets sorted. I don't know what.
team's turret has been destroyed.
Okay, we are on a different team speak. We apologize wholeheartedly for these problems, guys. Nothing we could have done, but we're going to kick it right back into the action. 2-0 is the scoreline, 1 tower apiece, and you do have a 1k gold lead coming up for GamingGear. They're going to be going on towards Drake as well, so it's looking pretty good for them. Varus and Zyra are pushing the top lane very, very aggressively, having said that, so it could very well be a tower for a Drake. Even though, to be fair, Malphite's standing tall here, so they're not going to pick up the tower anytime soon, and the Drake's been taken, Stress. So, are you here?
Yes, I am here indeed.
Okay, brilliant.
I was just waiting for a good spot to chime in. Yes, you can see the dragon does go down for GamingGear, and this is a lot more of what they needed to do. They're taking the control of the game from earlier on, but Shoot Up and Eurostar are pushing on towards this inner tower. Luckily, it was only our audio that was going a little bit haywire, and meant that at least you guys could still see the action on screen.
Yeah, very true. So, you have been kept up to date with what's been going on as we were scurrying to try and find a new TSO, which Pulse very kindly supplied us with. So, let's just carry on here. Top tower is dangerously low health, should be going down. Death Sentence comes out, forces the flash from Shoot Up there. Had he been caught, could very well have been dead of Varus. Here comes Nautilus from the side. Are they going to try and push the tower down, or perhaps pick up a kill? Deadly Brother gets caught from Nautilus, and the Ignite as well. A hail of arrows just narrowly missing, but they will pick up that tower regardless and pull themselves back.
And Nitrix might be caught out now in the bottom lane. There's the Demacian stand that's going to come in from Lunarix. Slice and Dice trying to get away. Ignite is ticking. There's the Seismic Shard, and the Ground Slam is going to be enough to pick up that kill for Malphite. You can see that British Tea Time are trying to just find whatever they can. They pushed on towards that inner tower up in the top lane. They did end up getting it as well. And so a good pickup there is going to help them keep that gold lead as small as possible. But GamingGear with the advantage already in the early game means that these mid-game team fights might not end up going so well for British Tea Time.
It's very true, and this is just what GamingGear needed. After that very blistering one-sided affair in Game 1, going to British Tea Time, they needed to stamp their authority and say, hey, we're not out of this, we can give you a good game here, we can take games ourselves. So, very nice start from them. Let's have a quick look around the board, because I haven't had a chance to thus far at some of the items that have been picked up. You do, once again, it looks like Ezreal's going to be going for that patented blue build with Spirit of the Elder Lizard coming out first. On the flip side, Varus has just a Bilgewater Cutlass and 250 gold, so he's not going to be going back to pick up anything for quite some time. But fairly quick lightning start here, Stress. Tower's down, Drake's been taken, looking good.
Yeah, and it's not quite over. Mazarin got caught out there, managed to, I believe, flash away from that dredge line, so wasn't quite able to connect for the gank there in mid lane. But again, this action that we're seeing all week is just end to end all of the time. There's so much in the way of action on screen that can be a little bit tricky to keep on top of all of it. I mean, for example, down in the bottom lane, just following that mid lane gank, you can see Shoot Up and Yara start pushing on towards the turret. Hail of Arrows is going to go down, and those plants from Zyra are just going to do a little bit of damage. But this is very much the inverse of what we saw in the last game. But GamingGear are the ones that are now swapping their bot laners into the mid lane. But 2 towers down in favor of British Tea Time. Gives them a little bit more map control. Ultimate used by Zyra as well. Hail of Arrows. There's the Chain of Corruption. Seismic Shard's gonna make Shoot Up turn around, and they don't quite convert that kill.
Ooh, that True Shot Barrage just hair's breadth away from Zyra. Had that have landed, could very well have picked up the kill from Ezreal back towards Spawn, who's now moving his way up top. But as you said, I mean, it's really, really difficult to keep on top of all the action because you have things happening in all lanes. There's towers down in each lane, or at least kills in each lane falling all over the map. So tower at the bot lane is being harassed once again. Here comes Jarvan forcing the flash, but the Cataclysm's going to land regardless. Yerostar will be falling. Here comes the teleport though from CookMySock on Diana, turning this one round into a 1-for-1 exchange. The unstoppable force landing on CookMySock's face, but he will be able to just narrowly push away from the tower as he took a shot or two. Malphite in the meantime takes a fair bit of damage, will be pulling himself back, and that should be yet another tower going down for British Tea Time.
Yeah, and CookMySock has already finished the Stinger, so that's going to give that plus 40% attack speed. And that means that passive is going to proc all the more on Diana. That Moonsilver Blade is going to deal additional magic damage and gives her 20% additional extra attack speed as well. So right now she's actually on every third strike, hitting for an extra 146 damage. So she's going to start shredding through turrets. Nitrix forced to slice and dice away from Deadly Brother and Inspiro here up in that top lane, and they're doing a good job of pushing on towards, but this bot lane is identical to the British Tea Time bot lane from the last game.
Yeah, we do have JNT Taylor coming up there on Nautilus. Does get spotted by a ward though in the Tribush area. Coming back for take two. Pings are coming down. However, Deadly Brother and Inspiro are fully aware of what's happening. Meanwhile, in mid, some action going down. Here comes Jarvan once again. Lunarix managing to actually get the shockwave on top of him from Mazarin. That will be a very comfortable kill in the end from Orianna, who's amazingly farmed up at this point. He's going to be chasing after. Oh, he actually gets barrier baited. This could be a 1-for-1 trade under the tower between those two. And in the meantime, Nautilus and Diana did move themselves to mid. So regardless, Orianna would have gone down. Better to take someone down and go down swinging than not doing anything at all.
Yeah, and overall that went 2-for-1 in favor of GamingGear. They pick up a double kill onto Orianna. She already has that Athene's Unholy Grail, and Taylor and CookMySock trying to do as much damage to that turret, of course. And Diana passive is so good at shredding through towers. Already took half of the health off. And when you consider that there's an AP carry up in the top lane, Nitrix trying to get away. Mystic Shot doesn't quite land by Deadly Brother. That ultimate is ticking from Nitrix. He manages to get the stun, and Nitrix with an incredible play. That Ruthless Predator picked it up, and then Taylor coming in through the side as well picks up that final kill on it to Inspiro. So massive plays here from Nitrix in that top lane.
I apologise for my excited squeal there, but I couldn't contain myself. I'm amazed that Renekton did not go down. It just looked like it was a certain death. And what that basically did was give British Tea Time 2 kills and put them ahead on gold. Could that have been the moment where British Tea Time begin their comeback? Well, only time will tell. Either way, Renekton managed to stay alive there. 66 CS to his name, has gone back to spawn, has a Giant's Belt and a Ruby Crystal alongside a Chain Bear, so he's looking pretty tanky for this stage of the game. We could have some action kicking off around mid. Shockwave is popped there from Mazarin on towards Yerostar. Stranglethorns comes out, will be picking up that kill for free. And it was a nice little kind of sixth sense Spidey tingling there, because in all honesty, I'm not sure how many mid laners would have committed to that kill fully, not knowing where the rest of the team was.
Yeah, Mazarin is actually at the maximum cap for cooldown reduction is already at 40% CDR right now, and that means that Shockwave, it only has a 72-second cooldown on it to begin with, so it's going to come back off cooldown fairly quickly, nearly half off cooldown already, but Shoot Up caught out a little bit, forced to kind of run away with the rest of his team. He used Chain Corruption as well, so allows GamingGear to turn around and start thinking about a Dragon Call.
They have started off the Dragon here. No ward coverage. True Shot Barrage goes up. More of a scouting agent than anything else. Here comes JNT Taylor, though. He's going to be trying to steal this one out. However, Jarvan will be taking that one down. Now we're going to have an engage kicking off. They know the Shockwave is still down right now, but they're going to be picking up a kill regardless. Malphite on towards Nautilus. Now going to be chasing after Nitrix. He's very tanky, but he has 4 very angry players in his face who will pick the double kill up, actually, for Malphite, for MBS LOL. And on top of the Dragon, you know, we're talking about is the comeback on its tracks, and then GamingGear are like, nope, and just kind of shut British Tea Time out again.
They derail the comeback train right now, and a lot of that is because they caught them out in the mid lane and then ended up putting a lot of damage onto Shoot Up. Shoot Up couldn't really put too much pressure onto that team fight and ended up turning around fairly quickly out of the back, and that might even be this mid turret as well. It is dropping very quickly, but it looks like GamingGear don't actually want to stand there and face tank the tower. They do see CookMySock is coming around the side. Mystic Shot just dodged by CookMySock as that ward goes down as well. So You know, I mean, they could have picked that tower up, but it would have been a little bit risky. British Tea Time now looking to pressure in the mid lane for themselves.
And the worrying thing there is that they knew the Shockwave was down in that team fight, alongside the True Shot Barrage, which was fired out for a scouting agent. So even with those two big ultimates down, they still lost that fight and the Drake. Either way, True Shot Barrage comes firing through the mid, and the onslaught from British Tea Time is going to be halted just for now, pulling back towards their own jungle, Renekton to top, and some players recalling. So we're going to have a bit of a lull in the action, and we're going to be able to get our breath back.
Yeah, just a little moment for us to compose ourselves. Malphite right now sat at 3-0-0. Has a Sunfire Cape, that makes him very, very tanky on top of, you know, Malphite's innate tankiness. Just one of those champions. There's a flash forward out of Yarostar. He's actually going to get caught in a shockwave. There's the box he's going to come out, but Cook My Sock already takes down Mazarin. That leaves Inspiro alone. That, Crescent Strike didn't quite land either. Dredge line on towards Deadly Brother. My Sock looking to get whatever he can. Forced to flash back out. Seismic Shard's going to follow him. Goes back in with the ultimate as well. That's going to be a kill for Deadly Brother, but not before Cook My Sock picked up another kill for himself.
So a 2-for-2 exchange. Really ballsy play that has to be said from Yarostar. Flashed in to start the engage. Malphite's going to be going very heavily on towards Chewed Up. Nice dredge line landing in the back of the Hail of Arrows. That's probably going to mark the end of this engage, or is it? Because the Chain of Corruption does go back on. Unstoppable Force onto Chewed Up. That was more of a desperation move than anything else, and he will be able to flash away. Beautiful juke there from Thresh, who picks up the kill on towards Chewed Up, and that gave me kind of goosebumps, and I just got reminded of the top play from Nitrix on Renekton. It's all over again.
Yeah, but the difference between the top play with Nitrix and Renekton and that play there is Taylor left the kill. He actually started the auto attack animation and then cancelled the animation mid-swing because he knew the next auto attack on to, I believe it was Deadly Brother, would have been the kill. And they wanted to shoot up that kill as much as possible. Deadly Brother pops out of the back of that as well, so... Sorry, was it NBS, lol? I'm forgetting. I think it might have been NBS with the flash out, but nevertheless, they tried to leave that kill for Chewed Up and they weren't quite able to pick it up.
Yeah, it was MBS lol who flashed away after using Unstoppable Force, and it just goes to show, you know, players whine a lot in solo queue about kill stealing, but sometimes it is definitely a kill secured, and in that case, they did let the fish get away off the hook. Either way, we are going to have more action in mid. Again, surprise, surprise, British Tea Time. We've been watching a lot of these over the last few days, Stress. They're so aggressive. They don't hold up for even a moment. They're always pressuring some area of the map.
Yeah, and that's allowed them to control the pace of the game, but this is one of the first times we're seeing them not in control of how this game is playing out. They're still able to put quite a lot of pressure in this mid lane and also with the split push down in the bottom with Diana, but they are behind on gold, they're behind on kills as well. If they can keep taking down turrets in other lanes, then they may end up alright here, but they may be forced into a fight they don't want to take.
That's very true, and we actually had a conversation, I'm not sure if it was with Pulse or yourself, or maybe Spuddington, but in fact, hold that thought for a second. We could have an engage kicking off here, which I don't want to miss. The death sentence just goes past the ear of Chewed Up. Had that have landed, could have very well been an engage kicking off here, because you do have the Shockwave and the Unstoppable Force. Pretty much every ultimate on the battlefield is up right now, so all hell will break loose if that death sentence or something similar lands. True Shot Barrage just heard firing down towards bot lane. Diana was not involved here, so Cook My Sock's going to be going for this tower, and that's going to give the go-ahead for GamingGear to try and push the envelope at this mid. Here comes the Stranglethorns alongside the box as well. All hell does break loose, and it's a 5v5 now as Diana comes up. Here we go, lots of damage. Cataclysm lands on both JNT Taylor and Nitrix. MBS low is dangerously low, will be getting shut down courtesy of Cook My Sock on Diana. And that's just one kill after all of those ultimates, all of those abilities go down. But so many players flashing up red here and blinking. But it just goes, it's a testament to the player's skill. After something like that kicks off, only one player drops.
Yeah, great control of that team fight. British Tea Time split up. There was no real good place for that Unstoppable Force, for the Cataclysm, for the Shockwave, for everything to go on top of each other. They just couldn't find the right angle for it. And Cook My Sock's going to go in again. Dredgeline not quite catching on. But Cook My Sock managed to take that tower down in the bottom lane. He's actually going to return down there and push the wave through, I thought, but he is quite low on health. He's kind of thinking about it. You can see him wanting to go, wanting to pick up anything that he can down here in the bottom lane. But I think his patient and careful play is going to get the better of him because he is going to recall out of this. But very nice splitting in that team fight. They do give away the dragon for it, but managing to take the inner tower down in that bottom lane and holding their inner tower in the mid lane is going to be a big, big win in the minds of British Tea Time.
Yeah, plus the shutdown goal as well on NBS LOL Malphite. So, and that went to Cook My Sock on Diana, who's now 3-1, has the Nash's Tooth finished alongside Needlessly Large Rod and the Seeker's Arm Guard. I'm fairly certain that will be Azonia's Hourglass getting picked up. It's pretty much a core item on Diana because she's a melee AP champion that gets in the faces of the enemy team. She needs to have that Zonia's Hourglass basically to just keep herself alive, to do more damage throughout. So definitely going to be picking that one up once she goes back. But what I was going to say earlier is, I can't remember who I was talking to, but they seem to have the opinion, in fact, 1 second, it's like neither team wants me to finish this point. They seem to have the opinion that British Tea Time, when they go behind, they do start to falter, they do start to let things get to them. So I just wonder if that's in the back of their mind right now, because this is the first time in the last few days that I've seen them in a position where they weren't slamming the opposition. Cook My Sock is at bot lane right now, seeing the Moonfall to pull in the two players that are aggressing. Here comes a third in the form of Deadly Brother, doing so much damage, surviving for so long, but finally gets shut down from the Deadly Brother, and that's going to be a 1-0 exchange.
Flash burned out in the mid lane from Taylor. Dredgeline is going to come back in. Didn't look like Chain Corruption quite landed on anything. Chewed Up got that shockwave right in the middle of that fight. Mystic Shot is going to pick up that kill on towards Chewed Up, and it looks like British Tea Time are just trying to force things a little bit too much. They don't quite have this positioning. Cook My Sock went down into that bottom lane, no teleport available, and face checked into a waiting Malphite and Jarvan. And it looks like GamingGear just had that telegraphed, and once again, as you were saying, British Tea Time, they're behind and they're looking a little bit anxious here. They're trying to hold on to anything, but Yarostar is going to get caught out as well. Can Nitrix and Taylor turn this around? There's so many members of GamingGear here, though, that it's really not in the interest of British Tea Time to fight this.
Yeah, as expected, Cook My Sock on Diana did pick up the Zonia's Hourglass, so he's going to be able to be a tiny bit more aggressive now, knowing that he won't get popped in a heartbeat unless something goes horribly, horribly wrong. So, British Tea Time with their backs against the wall. Are they going to go out fighting? Are they going to sink or swim? Fight or flight? That is the question. And the next few minutes will give you the indication of what the answer may be. The ward's getting cleared out from Inspiro, who has actually picked up an Oracles for himself. And in the meantime, Cook My Sock on Diana will be going to bot lane. So it looks like it's going to be somewhat of a farming frenzy for the next couple minutes.
Yeah, and if we take a little pause here and we can check the CS in the game now, you can see Chewed Up a little bit ahead in that bot lane, about 30 CS ahead of Ezreal, but Ezreal has 4 kills and 3 assists, and that's a fair chunk of change to quote our South African friend. That's one of those things that I picked up from Quickshot that I just can't get rid of. Up in the top lane, Nitrix finds himself 50 CS ahead as well, so that's a significant amount. But again, there are so many kills on some of the lanes from GamingGear that it's difficult to look really at the CS and be all that convinced that, you know, the CS lead is enough. Malphite now has himself the Warden's Mail, so that's going to slow down the attack speed for Chewed Up. Is going to struggle there. Also, it's going to kind of affect Cook My Sock as well. Cook My Sock relying on those that passive quite a bit. And that means if Cook My Sock starts attacking, Malphite is going to get slowed. Lunarix takes the Crescent Strike and that ultimate from Cook My Sock, but manages to use a Demacian Standard to get away.
Indeed, so Jarvan's going to be just fine. You mentioned before, one of the things I struggle and I've picked up from Quickshot is a deleted thing, which I know you also struggle with from time to time. So if I use that one, I apologise in advance, Quickshot. I'm not doing it justice. But either way, Cook My Sock is going to continue in. Dredgeline has landed and a depth charge as well. Renekton, Nitrix going to flash in, and there's a beautiful shockwave to slave off the onslaught. Just for a few seconds, Stave, I should say. And are they going to re-engage this? Jarvan cataclysming on towards Varus. He does have the flash available, which he has just put. Stranglethorns on top of the box. Lots of action throughout. Scattered team fight here. Varus at the back is pretty much on full HP at this point. He's going to be cutting through Jarvan. In the meantime, though, Cook My Sock is going down. That's a big amount of damage that has been neutralized from British Tea Time's perspective. They are now running away. A 2-4 exchange thus far. Yarostar is probably not long for this world, though. Going to try and take down Deadly Brother, but he has a Malphite on his face. and it's not going to happen. In the meantime, though, Varus does pick up the kill on towards Thresh. Here comes Orianna, again flashing in. Is this the right idea, though? Barrier has been popped off. Indeed, it will be the right idea. Mazarin crushes Varus in a heartbeat, and now J&T Taylor is all that is left. Here comes the ball once again. Nice dredge line away, but Orianna's in hot pursuit. Loads of movement speed, and Malphite will be taking down the ace. Wow.
Yeah, and at first I was kind of thinking that that was British Tea Time's fight to win, because even though the shockwave went off, it was used so disjointed from the team fight. And you can see the teleport is coming in from Cook My Sock. It looked like it was in the vision of a ward, so a little bit unlucky on that one. Dodges the shockwave with the Lunar Rush. There's Azonia's Hourglass. Crescent Strike is going to be available soon. Flash out of the side there. Cook My Sock on the retreat. Oh, and the blue build is going to kick in. The Mystic Shot. He lands that Crescent Strike, but Cook My Sock not quite close enough. Looks for it again. Lunar Rush over the wall. Can he get enough? The shield not quite enough. It looked like a Deadly Brother did have barrier available, and it was enough to get him out of there.
A really valiant attempt from Cook My Sock, but not quite enough damage in that sense. And you know, Ezreal, Deadly Brother, will be able to escape by the skin of his teeth, recalling back to spawn. Is going to pick up a pickaxe and also a longsword. Has, as we said before, the blue build going for him. He has Iceborne Gauntlet, the Spirit of the Elder Lizard, and of course with a pickaxe and longsword, most likely along the Last Whisper, I should say, will be coming up next. Drake being taken from British Tea Time, who are keeping themselves in contention on gold, even though the score looks very one-sided at 20-10. They're only about 2k behind.
Yeah, not all that much in the way of gold behind. That's a lot down to those 5 towers, whereas only 3. There's actually a death sentence. Very nice in there. A lot of knockups happening, and Shoot Up doesn't have his flash available. A Lunarix and Mazarin only the ones picking up the kills there, and a Lunarix flashing red very low. But again, these team fights are working out so well in favor of GamingGear, and a very nice Lunar Rush out of Cook My Sock to pick up that kill. Not really expecting a ward to be there was a Lunarix, and didn't quite get out with the recall.
Now, Cook My Sock, the Usain Bolt of League of Legends, his movement speed seems to go astronomically huge there as he jumped towards Jarvan. There's nothing that he could do, but importantly in that last team fight, Renekton was at top farming and Diana was still in mid, so that was a 3 versus 5. They picked up the Drake, but they lurked around a tiny bit too long. As you said, death sentence landed, and that's all that she wrote for, I think it was J&T Taylor and also Chewed Up that got caught out there. You are going to have the True Shot Barrage coming up towards top, just clearing out the wave, and again, you have a bit of a lull in the action with Pink Wars going down and lots of vision being basically taken out of the equation for either side.
Now, the longer this game goes on, I kind of feel like if they can avoid the team fights and avoid those big AoE engages from GamingGear, British Tea Time might be okay here. They have the Diana, who's going to be able to split push very, very well. Renekton's going to scale alright as well, and Varus is, if he can keep farming and keep his items up, is going to start finishing even more important items. I mean, he's got Blade of the Ruined King looking for that Infinity Edge next. Does have a 1,100 gold, nearly 1,200, so he's not all that far from the Infinity Edge, actually only about 200 gold away. So that's going to be a very key item. It's going to give him that extra damage in team fights, but again, Randuin's Omen out of Malphite is such a big deterrent for AD carries just because of how much it slows the attack speed. So really, it's going to be a tricky one for British Tea Time, but they have to compose themselves and make sure that they're pressuring well across the map, and that is exactly what Cook My Sock is doing. Deadly Brother, though, that blue build is just so annoying for a champion like Varus, who doesn't have an escape in his toolkit.
It's very, very true. Of course, the Iceborne Gauntlet passive is really a nightmare to play against. It's going to slow you down. And Chewed Up's going to have to be ever so careful. In the meantime, though, they're actually going to be starting off the Baron. Diana's bot lane, but doesn't have the teleport up. So this is perfect timing from GamingGear. However, at what cost is this Baron going to go down? They need to pick it up, otherwise Diana's going to pick up this tower. They are going to be engaging on towards J&T Taylor, who's going to try and be that boss-like Diver Man, but he's not going to last for very long. Goes down, I say Diver Man, he's Astronaut this time around. Either way, the bot tower has gone down. Now going to be focusing on towards the inhib, and that's just for 1 kill on J&T Taylor. So they're not going to pick up Baron, and they're going to lose a tower. They are going to be going on Chewed Up though, so that's actually 2 kills as a result. and now pushing mid. But look at Diana this whole time is continually pushing the bot lane. Now going to be coming head to head with NBS LOL, trying to get these Nexus towers down. But the question is, can Nitrix and Eurostar stop this tower from falling and potentially the inhib? They're going to be going on towards Eurostar right now. Tower's extremely low. Eurostar goes down there, and now it's just Nitrix.
Taylor is back up, and the home guard boots out of Cook My Sock, if he had managed to recall, would have been enough. But Cook My Sock and NBS LOL still trading down in the bottom, but you can see, look at that attack speed debuff. Wasn't able to allow Cook My Sock to hold on. Nitrix very, very low here, and British Tea Time, while it started out going well for them, they did get that inhibitor, but the preventing the recall on Cook My Sock has been a very key part of being able to take this middle inhibitor for themselves. So British Tea Time did have an advantage, but it's now disappeared with that inhibitor in the mid lane going down as well. And with a scoreline disparity of 26-11 and only 4,000 gold in it, this game's actually a lot closer than the kill line says.
It just goes to show again how much how similar League of Legends is to chess, because at first you thought, okay, GamingGear have the upper hand, they can take this quick Baron, and you're like, okay, no, Diana's pushing bot really aggressively, and then a couple players got caught, and suddenly mid-inhib's gone. So it's backwards and forwards constantly. Deadly Brother needs to be careful. He's being chased down by JNT, Taylor, Chewed Up, and Eurostar in the mid, but doesn't really have a lot of cavalry behind them. Or having said that, Inspiro goes very, very low from the plants of Zyra. And now it's very possible that British Tea Time are going to try and force a Baron. They know Inspiro's on low HP. Is this the time they're going to pounce? Doesn't look likely, because they have nice ward coverage here, and they can see that GamingGear are starting to progress towards the Baron pit themselves.
They're going to do it soon, though, because that first wave of super minions is in through the bot lane. Deadly Brother trying to drag them up towards the turret and try and aggro, but another wave is coming in again. So that bot lane tower has really opened up, and with that inhibitor down, it does open up this Baron pit for British Tea Time, and they are going to pick up the Baron fairly uncontested. Yarostar, what did take quite a lot of damage of the side, but he was playing distraction, and now you can see Deadly Brother has rejoined them. Lunarix is caught out in the middle of British Tea Time. They managed to hook on towards Nitrix. Chewed Up is going to pick up the kill. Cook My Sock is actually teleporting into the base right now, and this might even end up as a base race. You're going to see British Tea Time try and deny the recalls as much as possible, but look at how strong Cook My Sock is now with that passive. He's landing so much damage onto the turrets with the Moonsilver Blade, and there might not even be anything that GamingGear can do about this. They still have 4 members of British Tea Time chasing them down, and we have an ex-Peke on our hands. Luna Rush to the other side of the base. There's the Zhonya's Hourglass after the shockwave. The box has been used. Can he get the proc? Shoot Up targeting it down. The double kill for Mazarin, but it doesn't even matter. British Tea Time finished the game 16 kills behind. But a play comparative to ex-Peke out of Cook My Sock picks up the game for British Tea Time. Fantastic, fantastic plays once again by Cook My Sock.
I'm speechless. It looked as though back and forth, British Tea Time backs against the wall, as we said. Will they fight or flight, sink or swim? They came out swinging. There's no doubts about it. Diana and Cook My Sock there, just unbelievable vision to realize, okay, we're caught in the middle of this fight, all hell's breaking loose, to have the clarity to think, oh, wait a second, our minions are pushing bot lane, I can go ahead and finish this game right now, is unbelievable. Players of my standard, for example, would never think of that. You'd be too in the moment of trying to kill the opposite players. You would never even think of the idea of backdooring. So you have to tip your hat to Cook My Sock and British Tea Time for a job well done there. 2-0 right now in this best of 5.
Yeah, and that puts them 1 game away from smashing through this tournament. I mean, that's the first game they were even contested in, and I mean, I know we're talking a lot about British Tea Time. GamingGear did a fantastic job of controlling that game, and I think a lesser team would have crumbled, being 28 kills, 12 down, and British Tea Time just held their composure, and Cook My Sock taking it upon himself to just close out that game. Fantastic game there. I can't really emphasize just how much I really enjoyed that game. Fantastic game here for game number 2. That means British Tea Time are 1 game away from taking the finals, but We did see over the weekend teams go 2-0 up in the LCS promotion relegation qualifiers and end up dropping the series. So it's up to GamingGear now to fight back in this one. Unfortunately, for now, that is going to be my last game of now. I think I'm scheduled for a game later if it goes that far, but it's been a great pleasure casting with you once again, Metas. But we will be back in just a few minutes after this break for game number 3 of the EUS Challenger Series number 3 Grand Finals, hosted by Kaostv.